What's up, y'all? Hey, welcome to First Class Investments LLC. Today, we're going to drop some information about compounding interest and why it's important. So, real quick, before we even drop the video, what is compound interest? Einstein put it like this: it is the eighth wonder of the world and you need it. It's either working for you or against you. And today, we're gonna find out of how to make it work for you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to this video in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Hey y'all, welcome back to the video. Today, let's go ahead and jump into it. So I got a couple of other videos built into this video to just show you like a visual for those that are visual. Here we go. First off, what is compound interest? Compound interest in the basic terms is just money working for you, all right? It's just money making money on top of money, all right? How is this possible? It is possible because you leave it into a savings account, right? So compound interest is basically just saving, but you have to leave it there. You cannot touch it. So when you don't touch it, it's earning interest on type of interest. Let's go ahead and jump into a Dave Ramsey video because so many people look at Dave Ramsey as financial advice. Some people love him, some people hate him. It's like a love and hate relationship. But right here, real quick, I want him to explain the compounding interest, and then we'll be right back because I want to show you something even better of how to really put it to work for you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it right now.
Compound interest is what we're talking about. It's a mathematical explosion. Einstein said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Now, compound interest is simply this. You take your money down to the bank. Let's take this $1,000, and we take it down to the bank, and we put the money in the bank. Now, you leave it there, and it earns interest, and you leave the interest there. The next year, you earn interest on the $1,000 and on the interest. The next year, you earn interest on the $1,000, on the interest, and on the interest, and you leave it there again. The next year, you earn interest on the $1,000, on the interest, on the interest, and on the interest, and then you leave it there again. That's what compound interest is. The trick with investing is you got to start, and you got to start right now. Time needs to be on your side. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's look at Ben and Arthur for a minute. Ben starts saving money at 19 years old. He saves $2,000 a year. He does that all the way up until age 26. At age 27, you will notice Ben puts in zero. Say zero. At 27, he quits putting money in, but he's got the pump primed. The snowball is there. It's starting to roll down the hill, and every time it rolls over, it picks up more snow because it's a bigger ball each time it rolls over. Then his brother Arthur on the other side, he looks up and says, ooh, Ben's saving money. I need to save money. He starts saving money at age 27. Now, let's fast forward all the way to the end of the story at age 65 and see what happens. What happens is, at the end of the story, Ben has put in $16,000 and has ended up with $2,200,000. Arthur, who put in $78,000, only ends up with $1,500,000. The guy who put in $78,000 later ends up with $700,000 less than the guy who put in $16,000 earlier. Some of you are looking at that and going, that's a real nice chart if I was 19. Well, let me tell you this. If you're in here and you're under 25 years old and you grasp what I just showed you intellectually to the point that it drops from your brain into your heart and changes your behaviors, I just made you a multimillionaire. You shouldn't be allowed to graduate from college or high school without being able to explain that chart. It would change America if people understood that chart.
All right, incredible, right? Like your money is making money on top of money. And this is so easy for the typical person. Like instead of putting your money into a savings account, you put your money into something that's earning interest. Interest is the main thing you want to know. And like he said about the rule of 72, you take your interest divided by 72, it'll show you how long it would take for your money to double. Now, when you're going to work and working like that, and you're putting your money into a bank, all right, do you realize the bank is lending out your money? They give you 1% interest. Why are they giving you 1% interest in the first place? It's because they're loaning out your money 17, 26% interest. Whenever you get a personal loan, an auto loan, a mortgage, or a credit card, they are making money off of the money that you work for, put into their account. And then there's something called fractional disparity, that they only have to keep a fraction of your money actually in the bank and they can lend out the rest. Why do you think it takes so long to make a transfer? Right? The bank want to hold on to the money as long as possible because they're earning interest on top of interest, right? That's why your savings account makes more than your checking account, because you're leaving the money in there. Like this right here, I hope it's like sparking to you, like you're starting to get it. All right, so if you stay with the channel, we're going to show you more information like this. All right, this is how the banks work, and the banks are not bad. They're just geniuses. So learn how to become your own bank. Now, as earlier I said, I'm going to show you an actual way that you can supercharge your savings. All right, this is not an investment. We're not talking about investments. I know the company is called First Class Investments, but the first part is called First Class. We're here to educate you on how these things work. All right, now that you understand that the bank, whenever you deposit your money into the bank, they give you interest because they are making money off of you. So they're giving you that small percent of interest. What are banks giving? I mean, Capital One is probably the best one I've seen. They're giving you 1% interest. 1%. That means it takes 72 years for your money to double. And I don't know. That's a long time to me. Okay. I know we're living for a long time. That's one of our mottos. We're living past age 100, but 72 years, you get a better interest rate somewhere else. Okay. So I'm excited to go ahead and show y'all in this next video. It's going to show you how to use a whole life insurance plan. Yes, now this is not a typical whole life plan. It has to be designed in a specific way, all right? I am a life insurance agent, so if you need help designing this, please be sure to reach out to me. But for now, I want you to understand the concept. I want you to keep watching as many videos on my channel as possible, not to get my views up, not to get none of that. That is not the point. I'm just here to educate the public, show y'all this information that they are hiding within us. Like this is in plain sight. And because think about this. When is the last time you seen a bank say, hey, when's the last time you saved your money, right? When's the last time you seen a commercial saying, make sure you deposit your money and save it? No, you don't see that. That's why it's up to us to educate each other through these YouTube platforms, through these social media platforms, through any platform that you're using to educate others, all right? So, through a whole life policy, that is how you supercharge your wealth, your savings, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and show you this next video, and it's gonna break it down of how most of us are the typical way of buying things. And this is gonna show you how to compound your money to have it work for you, okay? So let's go ahead and jump to that video right now.
This easy-to-learn cash flow strategy will help you control your cash flow while giving you more leverage and liquidity throughout your working years. It is the foundation everyone should build their entire financial life on, and ultimately it will allow you to maximize most of your savings and investments while minimizing market volatility and uncertainty. The first step towards financial freedom is to set yourself up with a system that gives you control, flexibility, and liquidity. Well, there are 3 different ways you are currently running your household spending and investing. For that typical American we introduced you to earlier, they are borrowing to pay for large expenses, their lifestyle, or capital for their business. We call these people debtors. They work to spend, they don't have capital working for them because they can't save. When expenses come up, they typically borrow money and slowly repay the loan using their future income. They always pay interest. The type of borrowing and repaying continues, but they are always working just to get back to zero. They have obligated the majority of their future paychecks to someone else. The traditional way that our parents and grandparents handle large expenses is that they save their money. When they have a large expense come up, they empty their savings to pay for it, or, quote, drain their tank. As savers move through their life, they are continuously going through cycles of filling their savings tank and then draining their tank. Every time they have a big expense, their tank is drained and they return back to zero. In this comparison, they are no better off than the debtor. They are still at zero. The third way is to be a wealth creator. These are people that save as much of their money as possible, and they collateralize their wealth when they need to make a big purchase. This is what the wealthiest families in America have done for generations. So how does this work? Well, you might have already done this and not even realized it, by borrowing from your 401k or against your home in a home equity line of credit. All you are essentially doing is collateralizing that asset and taking out a loan against it. The idea is simple. You build up equity in an infinite banking concept account or asset. It earns uninterrupted compound interest, or when you have a large purchase or maybe even an investment, you use the account to secure a loan to make the purchase. Now you might be thinking, won't this just make us a debtor? Well, not if you do it the right way. This is where the how is more important than the why. In fact, the interest on your loan can be the same as the interest rate that you are earning on your savings, and you'll still come out ahead. How can that possibly be? Well, it has to do with the difference between compounding interest versus amortizing loans. Let's take a look at this example. Let's say you can borrow $50,000 at 6% for over 25 years. Over the course of the loan, you will repay $46,645.21 in interest, because over the course of the loan, the principal is reduced when you make payments. If you have that same $50,000 in a savings account that earns 6% interest over the course of 25 years, you will earn $164,593.54 in interest. Because the principal increases over the term as interest compounds. So let's look. You've earned a total of $164,593 in interest. Your loan interest is $46,645.21. The net gain to you is a $117,948 plus 33 cents. Plus, you still have the original $50,000 in your infinite banking account. Now let's imagine if you just spent that $50,000, you'd be out the $50,000 plus the opportunity to earn all that interest. That's why being just a saver is not necessarily the best way to build long-term wealth. There are a number of different accounts that can be used to employ this strategy. You can use a savings account or a CD. You can use a qualified account like a 401k, IRA, or mutual fund. You can even use your stock portfolio and take out a margin loan. You can also do a home equity line of credit, or you can use permanent, dividend-paying life insurance. When you are looking into the different ways to build cash reservoirs or equity, you have to look at 4 key characteristics. How safe is the account or asset? How liquid is the money in the account or asset? What is the typical guaranteed rate of return? And then ultimately, how is that account or asset going to be taxed? Let's compare a savings account or a CD. It's a very safe account for most. It's a very liquid account, but what is the rate in return of savings or CD today? Less than 1%. And ultimately, how is that taxed? Well, it is taxed as earned. So the more interest you earned on that account, the more you are taxed on it. Qualified accounts aren't much better though. 401ks, IRAs, and mutual funds. How safe is that money? Can you lose the value of your account? How liquid is the money? Can you get access to it whenever you want to? Well, actually, you can't touch those accounts until you're 59 and a half without penalty. What is the rate of return of those accounts? Well, if you're seeing the yo-yo effect of the market, it could be dismal, and then ultimately, how is that account taxed? Is it taxed as ordinary income when you pull it out in the later years? If you look at the home equity line of credit, though, it's not much better. Can you lose the equity in your own home? Of course you can. Anyone who went through the crash of 2008 knows that you can lose home equity. So when you put money into your house, it is not very safe. How liquid is that equity? Can you get access to it anytime you want to? Can you walk to your mailbox and swipe your ATM card to get some much-needed cash in a hurry? Cash-out refis take at least 10 days, if not 30 days, to close and get you the money you need. What is the rate of return in home equity? It's always zero. The home value may appreciate or depreciate with the market, but home equity always returns 0% interest. And then ultimately, how is that taxed? You can also use a margin account against your stock portfolio. But again, you have to consider how safe is your stock portfolio. Can you lose value? How liquid is that account? Can you get access to it at any time? What is the rate of return on that account? And ultimately, how is it taxed? If you look at those 4 considerations, stock accounts just don't hold up. If the value of the portfolio drops by a certain amount, you can always get a margin call on your loan. That loan is due in full immediately. While many accounts may work with the infinite banking concept, obviously there are some that will work better than others. With permanent dividend-paying life insurance, the life insurance company pays an annual dividend. That dividend is applied to your cash and is guaranteed. You never lose that money. So from a safety standpoint, there is no better account. From a liquidity standpoint, the insurance carrier guarantees loans against that account. You just simply use your cash value as collateral for a loan that is given to you by the insurance company, and that's guaranteed, so it's highly liquid. The typical rates of return inside a permanent life insurance policy are determined by the dividend that the carrier pays. Those rates can vary, but they are guaranteed not to go below a certain number. And of course, every year, any dividends that are credited to your account are locked in and guaranteed, and are part of your principal never to be lost. So again, when we consider the 4 criteria, safety, liquidity, rate of return, and taxes, permanent dividend-paying life insurance satisfies all those criteria the best. Your money is safe from loss and guaranteed. It is completely liquid when you use the loan provision. Your money continues to grow and compound at competitive market rates, usually between 4% and 6%. And again, if you are using the loan provision in the policy, all the money that you are taking out in the form of the loan is considered tax-free by the government. So they are safer, more liquid, better rate of return, and ultimately you can use that money tax-free. In this example, we are showing someone who is saving $1,000 a month, or $12,000 a year. And let's say that at the end of 6 years, they've accumulated $83,704, and they want to invest that money. If they would invest their own cash, they would drain the tank and have to start saving that $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month all over again, only to drain the tank again when they want to make another investment. The red chart shows what happens to your wealth when you interrupt the compounding. The green chart shows what happens to the same amount of money if it enjoys uninterrupted compound interest. If you were to add that $12,000 a year to your cash reserves and let it enjoy uninterrupted compound interest, at the end of 30 years, it would have grown to $1,017,620. But by draining your tank every 6 years and investing that money you're interrupting, the compounding of that wealth, which turns out to be a $1 million mistake. Now what can you do with that money? Well, that's where it gets really interesting. You can use that money to pay for cars, college, weddings, or you can deploy that capital into productive assets. Now, do we suggest that you borrow against your policy and go to Vegas? No, absolutely not. But there are some things that you can do with that capital that are more productive.
Amazing, right? Yes. You see how easy that is? You're putting your money somewhere. You're borrowing against the loan, the company. You're borrowing against your money, but your money is sitting still. That is the key to compound interest. It's sitting still. Your money is not coming out of that policy. You're taking a loan, but this is where you have to be responsible because you still have to pay that loan back. So, watching my other videos on just budgeting and taking care of your finances and just how to use and move money around, that way this process can work for you, because this right here can be super, super dangerous if you don't use it in the right way. Peace.